In the distant future, humanity had spread across the stars, establishing colonies on faraway planets, engaging in trade with alien species, and forging alliances with other civilizations. Yet, despite the rapid advancement, Earth remained the heart of human history, and the legacy of ancient Earth legends still lingered. Maria Grant, a young technician on the mining colony of Trina 5, lived a quiet and peaceful life, far from the chaos and conflict of the galaxy's political struggles. She had no idea that her life was about to change, or that her true heritage was hidden deep within the folds of time and space. Maria had always been drawn to the stars, often gazing up at the night sky from the colony's open fields. Though she lived a humble life, her heart was full of dreams of adventure. But everything changed the night her colony was attacked by an alien race known as the Velkin. The Velkin were a cruel, war-driven species known throughout the galaxy for their bloodthirsty conquests. They raided and destroyed countless worlds, and Trino 5 was their next target. Maria and the rest of the colony were unprepared for the invasion. The attack was swift, brutal, and without mercy. The Velkin leader, Lord Kael, was ruthless in his pursuit of power, and his forces slaughtered the innocent colonists, hoping to wipe out any resistance before moving forward with their next conquest. Maria managed to escape the initial attack, finding refuge in the ruins of a nearby building. But as the Velkin forces advanced, it wasn't long before she was captured. She was dragged before Lord Kael, bound and helpless, her life hanging in the balance. The Velkin leader, upon seeing her, was strangely intrigued. "Do you know who you are, human?" Kael sneered, circling her like a predator. "You are no ordinary girl." Maria, confused and frightened, could only shake her head. "I don't understand," she whispered. "I'm just a technician." Lord Kael's eyes burned with recognition as he looked down at her. "You are the last of the dragon's bloodline," he said coldly. "The daughter of the dragon, whose power is unmatched. You are the key to my victory." Maria stared at him in disbelief. The dragon? Her mind swirled with confusion. What did he mean? She was just a regular human. How could she be the daughter of some mythical creature? Her thoughts turned to the old legends of dragons she had heard as a child. The stories were just myths, weren't they? But there was something in Kael's words that sent a shiver down her spine. Suddenly, Maria's body began to heat up, and a strange energy coursed through her veins. She felt it, an ancient power awakening deep inside her. Her body started to change. Her limbs elongated. Her skin turned a shimmering shade of gold and black, and massive wings began to unfurl from her back. Her eyes burned bright with golden light as a roar echoed from her chest, a roar that shook the very foundations of the ruined city. "I am the last," Maria's voice rang out, her tone echoing with ancient power. "I am the daughter of the dragon, and I will not be your pawn." Kael recoiled, stunned by her transformation. But it was too late. The energy she had unleashed surged through her, and with a primal scream, she released a blast of pure destructive force, obliterating the walls around her and knocking Kael to the ground. The Velkin forces, unprepared for her sudden awakening, tried to retaliate, but Maria was no longer just a human woman. She was the living embodiment of the dragon's power, and with each movement, her enemies fell before her. In just 27 minutes, the Velkin were decimated. Maria's strength was overwhelming, and her enemies were no match for the wrath of the dragon. Lord Kael, broken and defeated, tried to flee, but Maria's energy had already shattered his fleet. She unleashed one final blast, sending the Velkin ship crashing to the surface of Trina 5, forever ending the threat. Maria stood among the ruins of the battlefield, her wings stretched wide, glowing with the power of her lineage. The planet was quiet, the war over. But Maria knew that her fight had just begun. She was no longer just a technician. She was the last descendant of the dragon, and her birthright had been revealed to her in the most terrifying of ways. As the dust settled, Maria gazed over the remains of the Velkin and the wreckage of her home. She had avenged her fallen people, but the cost had been great. Her powers, though magnificent, had come at a price. Her world was lost, and the galaxy had taken everything from her. But Maria was not defeated. She was the last of the dragon's bloodline, and she would rebuild. Her wings spread wide as she looked toward the stars, knowing that the battle to reclaim her kingdom had just begun. She would seek out the allies she needed, gather forces, and restore her lineage to its rightful place. No longer would she be a helpless orphan. No longer would she be a pawn in the games of the galaxy's rulers. Maria Grant, the last daughter of the dragon, was ready to reclaim her birthright and make the galaxy tremble once more. Her story, one of vengeance, survival, and rebirth, would echo throughout the stars. The dragon's daughter had risen, and her reign would restore the balance of power across the cosmos. The battle for the galaxy had just begun,